All right, here we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you for joining us tonight. Tonight's topic is coping with quarantine, and basically, we're just going to talk about, the different things that we struggle with or going through. Um, for those of you that are not able to join us right now, I'm on my IG. That's at the.m.c. So make sure that you check me out there if you don't have access to Zoom. So basically, we're just going to talk about a lot of things that have been on our minds. Hopefully, people will join us. I sent the link. I tagged probably about 63 people. So hopefully they'll join us tonight within this discussion. But who would like to start off first?
Um, I guess I'll start. Uh, so we're talking about coping with quarantine. This quarantine thing is different, and it's different because like it hit us hard. It kind of forces us to do things a little differently, like whether it be virtually or over the phone or like stay away from people. Unless you're an essential worker. If you're an essential worker, I support you. I support you guys. I am an essential worker. But you guys who are in the hospitals, like on the front lines every day, like I salute you guys. With this quarantine, I feel like it forces us to reevaluate ourselves, reevaluate our goals in life, reevaluate our friendships, family situations, etc., etc. It kind of forces you in a way to build a bond with people who you've lost connection with over the years or people you may not know that well. And it also allows you to grow in a way. So that's how I see it.
Okay. Well, that right there, that's a perfect analysis. What I've seen a lot of is people have been saying, you know, it's time to tell people you love them and to get along. It's like everybody's now on this wave of, oh, let's help each other out. There's different stuff going on. I know you guys have seen the Don't Rush Challenge, which has become very popular this week. There's been like millions of them. Then there's the dance on TikTok.
Savage.
Yeah. But the one I'm talking about is the baby come give me something. That drink. And there was a there was a group of white girls that messed it up. Like, so never again. I know y'all seen that one. But it's just been a good time for everybody to get together. But when this is over, my question, are we going to continue doing this, or are we going to go back to the way that we were? Because it's like we cannot go back, we can only go forward. Like, so many people's lives have been taken because of this virus, and more people are fighting. I've heard testimonies of people have um that have recovered. I know I heard a testimony this week from a brother who said that his lungs, that he couldn't breathe, and he lost smell and taste, and he said everything tasted like plastic. And then after doing self quarantine, he's finally able to taste again, he could breathe again, and he's just been praising God ever since. And it makes you look at life like, our time on this earth, our time on this earth is short, so we shouldn't take it for granted. But I want to hear what Alexandra has to say, in terms of this.
You want to hear what I have to say? Okay. Um, the first thing I want to say is there's this post that has not even a post, just like people on social media, the post, whatnot, has been saying during this time of quarantine, like if you don't, something along the lines of, if you don't come out from this quarantine with a new skill, learning something, or I think you guys know what I'm talking about,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I've seen that.
And I can't stand that.
Exactly. It's annoying.
I hate that post. I don't support the mentality of this. Why? Because this is a traumatic moment for everyone. Not even for people who's lost family, friends, those of us that attend church, our church members are dropping work, essential work. Like everyone is being affected in one way or the other. And this this thought of, because I'm going through this and I'm home and whatnot, I should be learning something, I should be doing something. How? When your entire world has been shifted in the blink of an eye. I mean, we're so used to getting up, carrying on, going to work, going to school, brunch, doing whatever on a day-to-day basis. And in the blink of an eye, it's like you're scared to even go check the mailbox. Exactly. So when you're going through that moment, how do you cope? You can't tell someone to learn a new skill and their world is upside down. If they can't manage the little bit that they have, how are they supposed to branch off into something completely different? So for those who are struggling or just trying to figure out their today and their tomorrow, and then you've seen the post or you've heard the post and you've been doubting yourself, stop it. Because there's no rule. The main thing right now is dealing with right now. Now, if you are able to learn something, read a book, engage in some sort of activity, that's beautiful, excellent. And that's great that you're able to shift and you're able to take that time and do that. But for those of us who are still uncertain about what's going on, who's scared and all of that, deal with it the best way you know how, in whatever way that is. Granted, it is a safe and effective way. Whether you have to talk to somebody, start a journal, or just, it's just day by day. So that's what I want to say as far as that. Now, how do we move forward? I think we move forward the same way we would. I think when we do come out of this, everyone will kind of just appreciate the smaller things more, as far as, just seeing your friends, being able to give your boy a dap, being able to give, hugs and all that stuff. I think those little things, being able to see each other face to face, I think we'll appreciate that a little more. Those of us who are able to work, school parents, you have parents that are struggling with their kids. I know, when school opens back up, that'll be something. So I think a lot of burdens that we have now will be lifted and we'll appreciate things a little more. But I feel like we should still keep the momentum. I think we should still keep the little, like Zoom calls and, just checking in on each other from day to day. Because I feel like a lot of people now, they're being checked in on more than ever. Like we're reaching out to people that we probably normally wouldn't, just to see if they're good. Right. And I think once this is over, things like that are things we need to continue to build and continue to grow with, because it's not only helping us, but it's helping somebody else. It's like this quarantine is a moment of reflection. I think we should all look at it as a moment of reflection, and it's just revealing a lot to a lot of people. We're discovering things about ourselves. We're discovering things about each other. And I think once we do get some sort of normal back, and I use this because I can't say that our lives are going to completely be back to normal the way it once was prior to COVID. But I think like you're saying, the TikTok, I think keep that going as a distraction. I think, like I said, the weekly check-ins, the Zoom meetings, the teleconference calls. A lot of churches have been live streaming, keep all of that going, keep the same momentum, and just learn to adjust and include all of these things in our daily lives once we're able to get back to some sort of normal way of living, I guess.
That's a good way to look at it. One of the things that actually bother me is the fact that, they say that this quarantine is supposed to be over about May 15th, right? But we also know May is usually a time when, a lot of Queens churches get together for Federation, and we're not going to be able to have that this year. We're not going to be able to congregate at New Jerusalem Worship Center. You know what I'm saying? So that for me is a joy because I filmed for the last 3 years. I've been filming. I did the 2017 service, 2018, and 2019. So for me, I get a joy out of being there, just seeing people that I haven't seen in years. Sometimes maybe 5, 6 years I haven't seen a particular individual. And so just knowing that that event is, already canceled or possibly going to be canceled, among others, it's like, man, a lot of things that we wanted to do, you know, like we can't do anymore. I know this summer, Youthful Worship was supposed to go to Florida to have a concert. You know what I mean? And they probably might not even be able to do it because of the whole quarantine thing. And I think it was supposed to be in July. So it's just a lot of different things that have been shifted. And I know people are getting angry. It's normal to have that reaction. It's normal to be upset. But at the same time, we have to make sure that we self-quarantine. If we do have something, not to pass it on to anybody else. The other day, I was hearing about these group of people, and I don't know which state they're in, but it was a bunch of people that were protesting. They blocked the traffic. A lot of medical workers could not get into the hospitals because there was protests going on. And they were like, oh, so-and-so is taking away our rights to be outside, to do what we want. No, your rights are not being taken away. You will always have your rights. The thing is, you are under quarantine. You are under lockdown for the remainder of the time. These people are not wearing gloves outside. They were giving candy to children. They just had this, they were just annoying and nagging. It's like, yo, you're going to risk your health, and die for no reason because you didn't want to listen. It's like the woman that drove into a church and the reporter asked her, what are you doing here? You can get sick. She's like, oh, I'm covered by the blood of Jesus. Yeah, okay. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, believe me, I love our Christian people, but we cannot use religion to cloud our judgment when it comes to situations such as this. This is a pandemic. People are dying. And today on my page, somebody who, every once in a while, she writes some good stuff on Facebook, made a comment like, yo, this whole thing is fake. It's not a pandemic. And I'm like, I didn't even respond because I was like, yo, out of all people, I wouldn't have expected you to come and say some nonsense like that, especially with what's going on. So if you decide to go outside and you get sick, that's your fault. But I feel like Ray wants to say something. I have a feeling. Go ahead, my brother.
I mean, it's not. I agree with you, especially with the whole idea of like going outside. Cause let's be honest, being inside all day can kind of be depressing, to be completely honest. And like, I would encourage folks, like, if you're gonna go outside, just stay within your vicinity, or like, if you're gonna go to the store or wherever, wear a mask, of course, gloves, etc. Um, as far as like interacting with folks, I wouldn't do it unless that person, like you and that person, have instantly. Um, and as far as being covered by the blood of Jesus, like that's fine and dandy, but at the same time, it's like you have to take heed to good advice. Like every day we're hearing stories of like people dying in hospitals, like hundreds of people dying in hospitals per day, sometimes per hour. And the fact that like a lot of medical staff, like they're exhausted, they're working 12, 18, sometimes 24-hour shifts. Some of them have to reuse the same medical equipment, the same PPE equipment throughout their shifts. Like that alone should say, hey, let me help to flatten the curve, because that's what we're trying to do here with the social distancing, with the stay-at-home order, is just to flatten the curve to make sure that, once things take a turn, I personally would wait. I would wait a little bit so that like when outside is clear, as in there's no one getting any sicknesses after this whole thing is over, then I would make my way out. That's just how I see it.
I mean, that makes perfect sense, you know. I mean, what I want people to be aware of is that we are living in a world where everybody just wants to be selfish. They don't care about other people. And even though we have all these great things going on, we have virtual concerts and, you know, people doing live reports from home, you know what I mean? And Chris Cuomo and his brother arguing back and forth. All these things, they're fine. But the issue is that people are not trying to listen. Like, I would look outside my window and I'm seeing kids, teenagers, they're this close together. They're not spacing out. The girl has a mask on, the boy, nothing. And it's like some people are just smiling and walking through this thing like, oh, this is nothing, I'll be all right. No, this is something. You can die. You can contract something, you know? Like I said, like, you know, there are people right now that have been in the hospital for a month. And there are some individuals that as early as probably last year in December that have died from coronavirus, but at that time it wasn't highly publicized. And there were some people that were saying that months ago, you know, in 2019, that they were sick and that they felt they had symptoms
December.
that was similar to COVID-19. Some people, as far as like last March, said that they were feeling this type of sickness. So I mean, what does that tell you? If it has been around us for this long, then you know no one's been doing their job. No one's been checking to make sure. I mean, to fire the people responsible for the pandemic exercise and not prepare for an event such as this is totally irresponsible. And I can't say it enough because it annoys me and it angers me at the same time because people have been taken away just like that. A woman lost her husband and son days apart. It was just three of them, you know. There's some actor who he has to get his leg cut off um because of coronavirus, something about you know blood transfusion and it not going well in the system being affected by coronavirus. So it's just a lot of different stuff that I see taking place, and you know I don't like it. You know, people are going outside business as usual. Like, yeah, I'm gonna wait outside. I'm gonna go get this McDonald's. I'm gonna go get this Wendy's. It's like it's not worth it. You know, a lot of these fast food companies they say like, yo, do Grubhub, DoorDash, even Pizza Hut is like, yo, we're delivered to you or Domino's. You know what I'm saying? Stay at home if you can. If you got to go out and do some grocery shopping, get some fruits and vegetables, then do that for a brief moment. But then after that, come right back home. You know, the worst thing about this is that, you know, I remember on Friday afternoons, like sometimes kids, you know, be getting off the bus around 2, 3 p.m., making mad noise, screaming. You know, you go outside or you just look through your window, no kids, nobody's making jokes, cracking on each other. It's like it's dead around the area, you know, because you know when it's after school, you got like at least 20 to 30 kids ready to make some noise and screaming and chasing each other and all that. But nothing. It's like it's just real quiet, you know. And then I remember a couple of weeks ago, there were helicopters like over my house, right, to make sure that I guess that people were following curfew. There was even a police truck, excuse me, that was circling the perimeter to make sure that nobody was out after 8. So it's a lot of different stuff going on. Um, do you have something to say, Alexandra? I feel like there's something on your mind.
I mean, I get it. As I was saying earlier, it's a complete shift in lifestyle. So people are not going to be quick to adhere to it. And unfortunately, this is something where it's like if people are not affected directly, they won't believe that it's real or it's a scheme or it's the government. You know, like people believe different things. I mean, different strokes for different folks. But I mean, there's really nothing you can do. I mean, unless we end up like India and have the police out here with sticks beating people when they're outside, you know, and it's already that we already know police brutality is already an issue in its own self. So
Right.
I wouldn't, recommend that. But I mean, there's really nothing that could be done. Like, it's just one of those things where people are going to just have to say, screw it, let me just stay in, and hopefully, it goes away. But I get it. You're not going to want to stay in, like Ray said earlier, staying in the house all day can be depressing. And personally, I feel like if you are going to go, like say if you go out to exercise now, I know a lot of guys and some women, they like to go to the parks and use that because the gyms and stuff are closed. But go for a walk, like it's okay to go for a walk around the block. It's okay to, if you're going to go jogging, or if there, things like that is perfectly fine.
Ride
The
a
issue
bike.
is you're not going to go to crowded areas. I'm not going to say, oh, I feel like going out and I'm going to go to the club or I'm going to go to brunch. No, don't stay in the house all day long. Go for a walk, Like I said, go jogging, depending where you live. Like if you have a porch, you could even sit on the porch, like things like that you can do. It's just being mindful of who is around, and then those that want to go, that want to do go out and get something to eat. People may not want to cook. They may want McDonald's or Burger King, whatever. That's fine. Just walk in, go get it. But when you're in a confined space, you would just still have to be mindful. Keep your 6 feet. Try not to touch anything. Make sure the workers are, up to par with whatever it is that they need to do. Like you're not gonna, like if I'm going to McDonald's and I see that it's crowded, I'm not gonna go inside. But
Right.
That's just me. I'd rather stand outside and wait. Like even with the supermarkets, there's lines and they're letting X amount of people in and stuff like that. It's just being mindful and careful to see. And then with the young kids, I can't even blame them. I can't get mad at them because when I was their age, I thought I was invincible too. So it'll be like 20 degrees outside. I'm running around with a crop top and my coat open. And then when I get a cold, I don't know why. So I can't even really be mad at them and when we were their age, we thought, we were invincible and nothing would happen. So it's just one of those things where hopefully, it kind of hits. Hopefully this goes over sooner rather than later. I am hoping come May this thing is done because it's my birthday and I'm hopeful my birthday month and I'm not trying to cancel nothing. So, that's that. With that put it,
Yeah.
Might as well put your birthday plans to next year.
My birthday party on Zoom. We're going to Club Quarantine on Instagram. My birthday party gonna be on
Who's
Zoom.
gonna do the DJ? Actually, no. I forgot. There's a producer / DJ on here. I forgot. I'm sorry.
You guys, man.
I
But
forgot.
yeah, I get exactly what you're saying. I remember the other day, Surgeon General. Let me get his name correct because I don't want to say it wrong. Jerome Adams, right? He said, do it for Big Mama, do it for Pawpaw, do it for Mama, do it for whoever, right? And he was talking to the Black and Hispanic communities because, he's a brother. Don't worry, he's a brother. So, he did this because it's like, we have the highest rate of, I guess diabetes and other stuff. So he's just like, cut out the smoking, cut out the drinking, and all this other stuff that people like to indulge in. Because look, the other day I passed, it's some liquor store up on Springfield, and dudes is waiting outside to buy alcohol. It's like, you damaging your liver. You gonna damage it faster by drinking the alcohol. You already exposed to that stuff, and you don't have a mask on. So people are going hard with that. And then you got people
but
go ahead.
But let's talk about it for it. How do people cope with this sense of like urgency or the sense of loss in a sense? Like, what do we expect people to do?
True. I mean, the thing about it, you still there or are you frozen?
Because to be quarantined though. No, I'm still here.
Oh, okay.
Did I freeze?
Yeah, I think Yeah, it's been.
I'm still here.
Yeah, you are. You are.
All right. Because with this quarantine, right, with people staying at home, domestic violence has gone up.
True. True. True.
There's that aspect too.
That's true.
Domestic violence, child abuse, all
So
of it. I mean, I can't knock
child
anybody.
abuse, yeah.
Yeah. Like, I can't knock anybody if they go and they get a bottle. Because, I mean, the reality is for many people, there's nothing else for them to do.
True. True.
You
True.
know, and it's like, I agree. Yes, we shouldn't drink as much and we shouldn't drink as much and smoke and all that stuff. I get it. And the Black and brown community, we are affected the most because we probably, now I'm no doctor or anything, but going to assume from what's being said in research, we have the highest count of underlying health issues compared to others, right? So everyone is bashing the Surgeon General, saying that, oh, Black people smoke and drink all day long. I don't even see it that way. I saw, because he's a brother himself, so I see it as him speaking to his people in a way that they would understand. And in no way am I saying that Black people are not going to understand the regular English language. Absolutely not. But we know that there's a certain way we speak to each other when we know, right? So I agree with what he's saying. Yes, stay home. Whether you call him mama, pop, ma, granny, big mama, nana, whatever it is that you call your grandparents, it's kind of like, yeah, stay and do it for them because they're dropping the fastest. And part of that reality is a lot of us are losing the matriarchs of the family. It's like our grandmas and great grandmas, they were the ones that was keeping the family together. So it's like the fact that we're losing these people, it kind of puts a concern in the future because it's kind of like, well, what are we going to do now that all that wisdom and everything is gone? You know, and I mean, that's a whole different subject, but I get where he's coming from saying, you know, stay home and do it for your grandparents, do it for the people you care about. I don't think it was a racial thing. I don't think he was whitewashed. I don't think he hates being Black. Not at all. I think he was trying to connect with his people the best way he knows how. And what do we call our grandparents? Mama, papa, granddaddy, nana, big mama. That's what we use. Now, as far as people going to the liquor store, for me, if that's what you do, great. But I do believe that you need to keep it the same way you would when you go to the grocery store.
Right.
Keep your 6 feet apart, keep your mask, still be conscious. You know, we can't now in the middle of a pandemic try to change people. This is the wrong time. If we're going to try to change everybody, it should have been months ago before this even started. It's like we need to be health conscious all around, not just, it's like you're in the middle of a pandemic, people are dying, people are afraid, people are heartbroken, and then you're going to try to take whatever coping mechanisms that they have. Again, let me disclaimer, I will not say I encourage people to use drugs and alcohol to get over whatever it is that they're dealing with. However, pulling it away from them cold turkey at this moment, personally, I don't think it's the best choice.
Right. I hear what you're saying in that regard, you know. And, you know, the crazy thing is when the Surgeon General said what he said, you know, some people took it as him being racist, but you can't be racist to people. Like, it's not an ignorant statement. You know, it's something that he meant it with love. He didn't say it with malice. And the problem is that anytime that we say anything for the sake of benefit of our own people, somebody's going to be like, oh, it's racist. No, I mean, that right there, the way I saw it, it was love. You know what I mean? And the problem is that sometimes we're too caught on this thing where, you know, everything has to be perfect and, you know, all these different things. I just checked and it says that we have a few minutes left. About 9 minutes left of this live because I only have, you know, the basic version, but we're gonna try to do the best that we can right now while we're here. For those of you on Instagram, I've already given you the meeting ID. I'm gonna say it right now. It's 682-620-6955. 6714, and the password is 558110. I'm going to repeat it again. 682-620-6714, and the password is 558110. So please make sure that you join us. I forgot where I was going with this, but yeah. So basically, what he was saying, he said it out of love. And sometimes when we speak up about certain things that we see wrong with our community, people always take it as an offense. But then the community cannot get better. Now, there was a post the other day. It was in some group that I was in, and basically it had made a disrespectful comment about Malcolm X and Martin Luther King Jr.'s appendages. I think you guys know what I'm talking about if you got a chance to see it. But I just thought it was highly disrespectful. And somebody said, like, when I posted it, like, yo, this is the reason why we can't move up as a people. Because it's like there's always one thing that's putting us back. But, in terms of this whole, quarantine thing, we really have to band together to help each other out. And so if that means that I got to say something that's real and you get offended, I'd rather you get offended than you be upset later on that I didn't tell you anything. That's personally how I feel. But, I've made my peace. Ray, you got anything that you want to add?
I just want to say, like, with this whole quarantine thing, personally, I think after this whole quarantine thing is over, we should just forget the word quarantine, because I've been hearing it every day, every hour on the hour. It's just like, it gets annoying.
Right.
But with this whole quarantine thing, I just want to stress the idea of, like, taking precaution, checking in on loved ones, like all those natural remedies that our parents and their parents, et cetera, have used in the past when it comes to, like, the flu and such. Like, those things really do help. Take this time to, like, really learn about yourself. For those people who, want to better themselves, take this time to learn how to speak to people, because that to me is, like, really important.
Right.
Learn how to ask open-ended questions, learn how to start conversations, create conversations. Just basically just try to better ourselves internally. Like, I know it's been a month, and people are kind of sick of what's going on, but we can't do anything about it. Like, we can't just be like, okay, quarantine over, let's go back to our normal lives. The world will never be the same again. Like, it won't be. And it's unfortunate that it's not going to be, but then at the same time, it's a good thing, because it created a slowdown for all of us. Like, I've noticed that, like, people are saying that they're resting more. People are saying that they're drinking more water. People are just doing all the things that we were speaking about earlier.
Right.
But now it's like you have to do those type of things. So that's how I see it.
Exactly. And, yeah, I've been sleeping a lot. I'm not going to lie to you. The other thing is that now you don't have to rush to go and get an appointment, to get your hair done and your nails done or anything like that. Like, the last time I had my hair braided it was a month ago, So I've been rocking out with this,
Okay.
and it's been all right. Like, for me, I'll always survive. You know what I mean? When brothers with hair, like, we good. I know when it comes to ladies, it's a little bit different, because it's like, yo, appearance is everything. Even when you at home, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter whether or not you're outside. Like, your appearance is everything. So sometimes you might see a picture, somebody putting on a little bit of makeup, doing their hair. You know what I mean? So I understand, like, the confidence doesn't leave. But it's just that, everybody's going crazy. People's like, yo, I need to get back to life. Like, we got to stop the spread first. And with everything that's going on, I see this dude in office. Like, I'm looking at what's supposed to be a grown man, but I see a child. Like, what is it that you're doing? Like, you think arguing with reporters is actually going to help you? Like, you're not going to get elected next year. And that's not to say that I want Joe Biden either.
I wouldn't say all that now.
No, I listen.
I wouldn't say
This
all
is
that,
the
man.
biggest mistake that he's ever made. Trust me. You can't get elected for two. You can't. He can't run for 2 terms. I'm sorry. It cannot happen. It
I
can't.
don't know.
There is a possibility.
I don't know. I'll plead a fifth on that one.
I'm not a big politic person myself, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Yo, but let me tell you something. Yo, I don't know how Washington, D.C. is doing, but I know he still got his supporters. You know, there was a pastor that was like, yo, this is a hoax. And a white guy. And he ended up dying. Like, and then there was another guy that was like, yo, I'm not going to stop preaching the word of God. You can't keep me here from God's house. And he died. Like, this is not a joke. And I'm sorry, we actually have 3 minutes left in this live. If you did not get a chance to express what you wanted to, guys, I'm sorry. But yeah, let me get back to what I'm saying. Yeah, so people are taking this for a joke, and then I just see a lot of like how we have the laughing emoji that you could put as a like. And I'm seeing people are laughing at this stuff, and I understand like it's not funny that the man died, but the fact was that he had pre-existing conditions, and he just felt like that's just something that was flaring up in the system. But I just want to get your thoughts on how you feel about how the president has handled this. We got 2 minutes and 44 seconds left. So, floor is yours, guys.
I'll just say preparation is key. Everything is a learning experience, and that's that.
Okay. So, Ray,
Yeah,
what about you?
I share the same sentiments, honestly. Like, preparation is key. Take good advice before it happens, and if there's a next time, then we'll know what to do. Honestly, that's it.
Right. I feel the exact same way. I feel a little bit of sadness because I feel like he failed. And the funny thing is that we as the United States of America, we always pride ourselves like, yo, we got this, we got that, but we don't have adequate health care. Canada got their stuff together. China took about a couple of weeks and they started cleaning stuff up, and now they're open. And you know why? Because they deal. Let me say something. China deals with viruses all the time, but they know how to quarantine. This is a country that like, yo, lockdown. You know what I'm saying? Wow, it went by just like that. Dang. But yeah, you know, yeah, what can I say? I just feel like, you know, I love the fact that I'm in America. I love those things, but at the same time, I feel like, people are not being put as a priority. You got the disabled that are worried that they're gonna die from this thing because there's not enough room, or if they don't have or showing the symptoms, then they're not admitted. And sometimes if you just go, it's like somebody that goes to a particular place to ask somebody something, and then they don't get the answer that they want and they just leave. No, you got to be persistent and go back again until you get what it is that you want. And I'm not saying to be forceful, but it's life and death when especially when it comes to this particular situation. You know what I mean? But Ray, do you have any last thoughts you want to add before we end?
Just stay safe, guys. That's really it. Continue to stay safe. Use this opportunity to better yourself. Use this opportunity to reach out to people who you haven't spoken to in years. Use this opportunity to read, expand your mind, create conversations, and yeah. Also, we are starting a podcast called